Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6. Glad you could join us here this Saturday evening on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the top stories of this hour. RBI employees unions write to Governor Urjit Patel, said the central bank's autonomy is at stake, urge him to take action against unwarranted interference. Haryana Health Minister Anil Vij stokes controversy, saying Narendra Modi is a bigger brand than even Mahatma Gandhi, retracts the remark after uproar. Severe cold wave conditions derail normal life in North India. Dense fog affects rail traffic, while Srinagar shivers at -6.3 degrees Celsius. And US President Barack Obama delivers his last weekly address to the nation. His message is that of unity in the face of differences and disagreements. Top story this evening, the employees union connected to the Reserve Bank of India have urged Governor Urjit Patel to retain the central bank's autonomy. They allege that the RBI is falling victim to increasing interference and must fight to free itself.
Various employee unions of the Reserve Bank of India have written a letter to the Governor Urjit Patel objecting to what it calls is the government impinging on RBI autonomy. They have also urged Patel to take action against the unwarranted interference. The United Forum of Reserve Bank Officers and Employees were referring to the reports of a joint secretary from the Finance Ministry being sent to the RBI headquarters to coordinate currency operations post-demonetization.
The prime focus of working of exchange of currency note high denomination is vested on Reserve Bank. That is by virtue of RBI Act 1934. The currency management and chase management is the responsibility vested on RBI by virtue of that act.
उर्जित पटेल साहब ने मीडिया को कभी भी कुछ भी ठीक ढंग से अनफोल्ड करके नहीं कहा कि डिमोनेटाइजेशन इस तरीके से हमको अमल में लाना है। हम जो देख रहे हैं वो ये कि पूरे 50 दिन में करीब करीब 70 इंस्ट्रक्शंस इशू किए गए और हर बार आरबीआई और उनकी जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस है उसको बदलते हुए देखा गया।
हम पॉलिसी के खिलाफ नहीं है। नोट बदली करने का डिसीजन जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने लिया है उसके खिलाफ हम लोग नहीं, लेकिन उन्होंने रिजर्व बैंक को कॉन्फिडेंस में नहीं लिया। गवर्नर, डिप्टी गवर्नर, एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर अगर इनको कॉन्फिडेंस में लेते थे तो शायद गांव खेड़े में अभी जो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है नोटों के बारे में वो नहीं होता।
Since November 8th, RBI has faced criticism from multiple quarters over policy flip-flops and handling of the entire demonetization exercise. Post the letter from the employees union, political parties are demanding that the demands be looked into.
Demonetization issue has brought RBI in a very bad light, and employees now have written a letter protesting against the way the RBI operational management is carried on by the present governor. It is an issue, it is a very serious issue. RBI governor will have to answer squarely to the issues raised by not only employees but even by others.
This is not a political issue, so I don't know why one should make a political comment on it. In any case, if any employees have raised any query or have any demand, they are going to talk to the appropriate authority within the organization, or it may be up to the RBI chief to want to speak on it. But I don't see any reason why a political party should have a stand on it.
Number of times we saw flip-flops. It appears that the RBI employees themselves feel that in a sense the institution has been devalued because of its operational mismanagement. I think both these factors are important and need to be taken cognizance of.
No wonder that an important issue has been raised by the three union of officers and employees of RBI as to how Modi government has decimated the last vestige, an institution like Reserve Bank of India, and made it a captive to the dictates of Modi government. Mr. Urjit Patel, the RBI governor, who has prostrated before Modi government and has actually decimated the prestige of the institution must now at least come forward and reply.
और मैं कमेटी के सामने उन चीज़ों को पूछूंगा कि आखिर क्यों जजमेंट दिया, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स का क्या डिसीजन था, पहले वाले गवर्नर के जमाने में बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स का क्या डिसीजन था.
At least 3 former RBI governors, former PM Manmohan Singh, Y.V. Reddy and Bimal Jalan have raised questions about the central bank's autonomy being at stake. Nobel laureate Amartya Sen also recently raised questions on the same issue, while being highly critical of demonetization. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, BJP leader and Haryana Health Minister Anil Vij on Saturday stoked a huge controversy, saying that Narendra Modi was a bigger brand than even Mahatma Gandhi. His statement came as political uproar over this year's Khadi Gramodyog calendar, featuring Prime Minister Modi at the spinning wheel. Vij also claimed that after the Khadi stationery, Mahatma Gandhi would be removed from notes as well. He went on to say that the name of Mahatma Gandhi had led to a fall in the sale of Khadi products. However, under pressure, he later retracted his statement. He tweeted that the remark was his personal opinion and he did not want to hurt anyone's sentiments. Earlier, BJP had also distanced itself from the state minister. However, his remarks drew flack from several opposition parties.
जब से खादी के साथ गांधी का नाम जुड़ता रहा, खादी उठ ही नहीं सकी, खादी डूब गई. महात्मा गांधी का ऐसा नाम है, नोट के ऊपर चिपक गया जिस दिन से, उस दिन से नोट की डिवैल्यूएशन हो गई. तो अच्छा किया है कि गांधी का हटा के मोदी का लगाया. मोदी ज़्यादा बेटर ब्रांड नेम है और मोदी का लगने से 14% जो है सेल बढ़ी है खादी.
Modi ji, Anil Vij ji and Bharatiya Janata Party must remember that Mahatma Gandhi, you can kill him 100 times, you can remove his photograph, you can abuse Mahatma Gandhi, but Mahatma Gandhi will always live in the soul of India, for soul of India will always remain.
चला रहे हैं तो गांधी नहीं हो सकता. नरेंद्र मोदी बहुत गंदा काम हुआ है. ये बापू का आत्मा हाथ देख रहा होगा कि देखिए आपका संतान कैसा निकला.
ये उनकी मानसिकता का एक प्रदर्शन है, लेकिन ये बयान उन्होंने जरूर दिया है, लेकिन ये शब्द लिख के कहीं और से आए हैं. ये उनकी पार्टी की जो विचारधारा है उसका एक प्रतिबिंब है. ये एक बहुत सुनियोजित व्यू रचना है जिसके को इन्होंने लागू किया है पिछले दिनों से.
वरिष्ठ मंत्री हैं और बहुत ठीक से सोच समझ के ही सारी बात कहते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी कई बातें ऐसी होती हैं व्यक्तिगत तौर पर कोई क्या कहता है उसका कोई पार्टी से बहुत सीधा संबंध नहीं होता है. अब उन्होंने किस बात से, किस संदर्भ में कौन सी बात कही है. जहां तक खादी का विषय है, अब खादी के विषय में तो महात्मा गांधी को श्रेय जाता ही है कि महात्मा गांधी जी के कारण से खादी को जो बढ़ावा है वो मिला ही है.
Alright, now ahead of the assembly elections, the demand for president's rule in Manipur has been raised by the United Naga Council, which is responsible for the economic blockade that has paralyzed the state. While the BJP supports the demand, the ruling Congress has asked the centre to use its influence over insurgent groups in the state.
The United Naga Council, that is spearheading the movement against the creation of 7 new districts in Manipur, has said that only central intervention can resolve the issue. They have been asking for the imposition of president's rule in the state. They have accused the Ibobi Singh-led government of breaking promises made to Nagas residing in the state.
Presidential rule must be imposed in the state of Manipur because there is no other way. State, there is no law and order. People are suffering. Different communities, different sections of the people are not at all in a good way. Therefore, presidential rule has to be imposed.
The United Naga Council has reiterated its demand after the announcement of the assembly elections in the state. The demand has found resonance within the BJP too.
अगर इबोबी सिंह इस ब्लॉकेज को अलग अगर हटा नहीं सकते हैं तो फिर राष्ट्रपति शासन के लिए पैरवी कर देनी चाहिए. फिर केंद्र का विषय है या निर्वाचन आयोग का, वो कर लेगा.
The Congress, however, has put the ball in the BJP's court. It says the United Naga Council is part of the umbrella organization NSCN-IM. And since there is already an agreement between NSCN and the centre, the union government should force the agitators to lift the blockade.
UNC is umbrella organization of NSCN. It is best known to all the people of Manipur. So if once they directed them to stop, UNC can protest in other ways. They can protest whatever they want in other. But why should they do the economic blockade? They are challenging the lives of the people in the valley. There are a lot of Nagas here also in the valley. But why are Delhi challenging these lives of the general public in the valley area? That is very inhuman. So why Centre is keeping silent?
The United Naga Council has blocked the entry point to Imphal Valley since November 1st last year. They are protesting the creation of the 7 new districts.
According to United Naga Council, there have been 5 agreements between Government of India and UNC that says no change can be made in Naga-dominated areas in Manipur without consultation with them. But now Congress has changed the decision. Now it is interesting to see that since ball has gone into the court of BJP, how it plays, because every party is taking a stand according to the electoral priorities. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in Imphal.
And continuing with our focus on state elections, news now from Uttarakhand, where our correspondent Navikram spoke exclusively with the Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat, who expressed full confidence of the Congress coming back to power.
जिस तरीके से हमने पिछले 2-2.5 सालों में काम किया है और जिस तरीके का नकारात्मक आचरण भारतीय जनता पार्टी का रहा है, तो ये दोनों को तुलनात्मक रूप में देख करके उत्तराखंड की जनता एक बार फिर से कांग्रेस में विश्वास व्यक्त करेगी।
सर, बीते दिनों सियासी हलचल भी हुई उत्तराखंड में, खास तौर पर जो पूरे देश में सुर्खियां बनी रही। ऐसे में आपकी सरकार पर भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप भी लगे, उन आरोपों को किस तरीके से देखते हैं? क्या
जिस भ्रष्टाचार का इन्होंने जिक्र किया, जिसको इन्होंने नारे में तब्दील किया कि जब से आया है बहुगुणा भ्रष्टाचार बड़ा 100 गुणा, आज वो बहुगुणा जो है भाजपा के नेता है, तो आरोप किस पर लगना चाहिए, किसको जवाब देना चाहिए? पॉली हाउस घोटाले में जिसमें कई दिन तक विधानसभा नहीं चलने दी गई, वो जिस मंत्री पर आरोप लगाया था वो भाजपा की नेता है, आज उम्मीदवार हैं। बात वो स्टिंग की करते हैं कि साहब दल बदल के लिए मैंने प्रयास किया। मैं साफ कह रहा हूं, देखे उस स्टिंग को। यदि मैं कहता हूं मुझे विधायक चाहिए और मेरे लिए विधायक खरीदने की मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूं, कहता हूं कि मुझे विधायक बेच दो भाई, किसी से कह रहा हूं, तो मुझे दोषी बताएं। ये तो इनको बहाना चाहिए था मेरी सरकार को बर्खास्त करने के लिए, इसलिए एक कॉन्स्पिरेसी के तहत एक स्टिंग करवाया गया और सरकार बर्खास्त कर दी गई। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, हाई कोर्ट ने लगातार निर्णयों के बाद ये तय किया कि हमारी सरकार को पुनः स्थापित करना है।
बहुत ज्यादा लोग अब बीजेपी में चले गए हैं, ऐसे में आपको लगता है कि जनाधार भी कुछ कम होगा?
इससे पार्टी को नई ताकत मिली। इनके कारण हमको बहुत सारे चाहे अनचाहे समझौते करने पड़े थे, सरकार चलाना मुसीबत था। फिर तो ये अगले 5 साल में 4-5 सरकारें देखने के लिए लोगों को तैयार रहना पड़ेगा। तो लोग हर हालत में उत्तराखंड जीते, इसलिए इन दल बदलों को पराजित करेंगे।
And in Punjab, our correspondent Vishal Dahiya spoke to State BJP President Vijay Sampla about his party's prospects and strategy in the upcoming assembly elections in the state.
पंजाब में चुनावी बिगुल बज चुका है और इस वक्त हमारे साथ हैं पंजाब में बीजेपी के अध्यक्ष और केंद्रीय मंत्री विजय सांपला जी। सर, सबसे पहला सवाल ये उठता है कि आपकी पार्टी पिछली बार 12 सीटें जीती थी, 23 सीटों पर चुनाव पिछली बार लड़ी थी, अब की बार भी 23 पर लड़ी है। ज्यादा दिन नहीं बचे हैं नॉमिनेशन का समय खत्म होने में, लेकिन अभी भी 6 सीटों पर आपने उम्मीदवार घोषित नहीं किए हैं और सभी सिटिंग विधायक हैं, तो क्या अब की बार कुछ सिटिंग विधायकों की टिकट कट सकती है?
निस्संदेह कि इसमें सिटिंग विधायक हैं, मौजूदा विधायक हैं या नहीं है, ये कारण नहीं रहता। हमने समाज में जाना और सीटों को जीतना, विनेबिलिटी, एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी, ये सब ध्यान में रखते हुए हमारे ये अधिकार जो है वो केंद्रीय हमारी पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के पास होता है। तो हमने जो अपने विचार देने थे वो दे दिए। अब उस पर निर्णय लेना, क्या निर्णय लेना, ये जो अधिकार है वो केंद्रीय जो पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के पास है, वो जब चाहे वो निर्णय ले सकता है।
10 साल तक आप सरकार में रहे शिरोमणि अकाली दल के साथ। 10 साल का एंटी इनकम्बेंसी बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर माना जाता है और इस बार जो विश्लेषण हो रहे हैं बार बार उसमें कहा जा रहा है कि जो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी फैक्टर है वो बहुत मजबूत होगा शिरोमणि अकाली दल और बीजेपी के खिलाफ। तो क्या ऐसी कोई रणनीति है कि कुछ अलग तरह से बीजेपी को चुनाव लड़ना चाहिए, जो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी फैक्टर है उसका असर बीजेपी पर कम पड़े?
देखिए, एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है, ऐसा किसी का निजी रूप में हो जाना स्वाभाविक है, मगर अगर हमने अपने दायित्व के निभाने में कहा, तो आज अगर विकास के रूप में देखें तो पंजाब देश के सबसे बेहतरीन प्रदेशों में से अगर कोई प्रदेश है जिसमें विकास बहुत तेजी से हुआ हो और क्वालिटी वाला हुआ हो, तो वो सिर्फ पंजाब है। और इसीलिए हम कहते हैं कि अब लोगों के पास जाएंगे, हम विकास किया है और विकास की जो हमारे पास एक लंबी वैरस है, ये नहीं है कि हमने ये 1-2 काम गिनाएंगे। अगर किसी भी क्षेत्र में जाएंगे, चाहे वो दलितों के, महिलाओं के, किसानों के, इंडस्ट्रीज के, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, हर क्षेत्र में एक बहुत जो है विकास हुआ है और विकास लोगों को अच्छा लगेगा और इसलिए लोग तीसरी बार हमें सरकार बनाने में सहयोग करेंगे।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। तो ये थे बीजेपी की पंजाब इकाई के अध्यक्ष विजय सांपला जी, जो कि उम्मीद जता रहे थे कि विकास के मुद्दे पर उनकी पार्टी और शिरोमणि अकाली दल के गठबंधन को एक बार फिर पंजाब में जीत मिलेगी और सिद्धू के पार्टी से बाहर जाने या फिर जो आरोप विपक्ष की तरफ से लगाए जा रहे हैं उनका कोई खास असर चुनाव में नहीं पड़ेगा। कैमरा पर्सन जुनैद के साथ विशाल दहिया, राज्यसभा टीवी।
All right, with that, we'll also take a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
We have a group at our institute which is trying to understand how do stem cells contribute to wound healing and repair. The group that I'm in is actually one of the younger groups in the sense that it started more recently, and it's a group which studies basically how cells determine what they are going to be. People who are trying to understand how cells make food and how do they utilize their resources, how do they deal with less resources.
Watch Eureka with Senior Professor Apurva Sareen in STEM NCBS Bengaluru, only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Gir, the last refuge of the Asiatic lion. The national park comprises 1,412 square kilometers of deciduous forest, interspersed with semi-evergreen and evergreen flora, acacia, scrub jungle, grasslands and rocky hills. It's fed by large water bodies and the Kamleshwar Dam. Gir has about 400 lions and 300 leopards, making it one of the major big cat concentrations in India. You can explore them in their natural habitat to tiny wild birds, not seen easily but heard singing in the forest canopy, to crocodiles floating in the marsh waters.
Hello and welcome to India's World.
I think through this white paper, China is conveying that it wants to change its policy towards India.
It's a bit of a smokescreen. China wants to project itself as a country with peaceful intentions.
If you see the Chinese press, India, together with the United States, does present for them a very strategic challenge.
Watch experts debate on China's white paper on Asia Pacific and India in India's World on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. In more national news, former Punjab Chief Minister Surjit Singh Barnala passed away at the age of 91. He breathed his last in Chandigarh on Saturday following a prolonged illness. Barnala had also remained the governor of Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and also served as a union minister. Barnala contested the elections for the first time in 1952 but lost. He was elected to Parliament in 1977 and was inducted into the Morarji Desai government as Agriculture Minister. Barnala was instrumental in setting up the Guru Nanak Dev University in Amritsar. And now to Tamil Nadu, where following widespread agitation, several supporters of Jallikattu have been taken into preventive custody in Madurai. They were allegedly trying to defy a ban on the traditional bull taming sport associated with Pongal festivities, which starts today. Anticipating trouble, police had been deployed in sensitive areas where the sport is generally held. The step came following indications that the sport would be organized to celebrate Pongal on Saturday. The Supreme Court had earlier said that it could not give its verdict on Jallikattu before Pongal, even as political parties cutting across party lines had demanded that the centre promulgate an ordinance to allow the sport. Cold wave continues to prevail in different parts of North India, and at least 25 trains are running late. 6 have been rescheduled and 8 cancelled due to dense fog. Intense cold conditions continue in the national capital. Even though mercury registered a slight increase, the minimum temperature was recorded at 4.3 degrees and the maximum temperature was recorded at 19.5 degrees Celsius on Friday. The Met Department has forecast partly cloudy skies over the weekend with moderate to dense fog, especially in the morning hours. Uttar Pradesh is facing severe cold wave conditions for the last 48 hours. Minimum temperature is hovering between 0 to 7 degrees Celsius in the state for the last 24 hours. The state capital, Lucknow, in fact, recorded the lowest of 0.1 degrees Celsius, while several other places in the state recorded minimum temperature less than 3 degrees Celsius. The Met Department has predicted that the temperature may increase marginally in the coming 24 hours, but there will be no respite from the cold. In Himachal Pradesh, the unprecedented cold wave conditions continue despite crystal clear sky and bright sunshine. There is no improvement in sub-zero temperatures at various places, and people are reeling under severe cold wave throughout the state. The Met Department has predicted heavy snowfall and rain on the 15th and 16th of January as a fresh western disturbance could again hit the Himalayan region from today. In Jammu and Kashmir, cold wave continues with Srinagar experiencing the coldest night of the last 5 years as water supply lines and various other water bodies, including the fringes of the famous Dal Lake, freezing. The mercury in Srinagar went down by over a degree from the previous night's -5 degrees Celsius to settle at a low of -6.3 degrees. The Met Department has forecast of another spell of wet weather from today. Now, international news. And after 8 years in office and a weekly web and radio address, US President Barack Obama published the very last installment of the series on Saturday. The outgoing US president used his last weekly message to echo some of the same themes from his official farewell address delivered on Tuesday. President Obama said that despite differences and disagreements in politics, Americans should unite around common principles.
That's what's possible when we come together in the slow, hard, sometimes frustrating, but always vital work of self-government. But we can't take our democracy for granted. All of us, regardless of party, should throw ourselves into the work of citizenship, not just when there's an election, not just when our own narrow interest is at stake, but over the full span of a lifetime. If you're tired of arguing with strangers on the internet, try to talk with one in real life. If something needs fixing, lace up your shoes and do some organizing. If you're disappointed by your elected officials, then grab a clipboard, get some signatures, and run for office yourself. Our success depends on our participation, regardless of which way the pendulum of power swings. It falls on each of us to be guardians of our democracy, to embrace the joyous task we've been given to continually try to improve this great nation of ours. Because for all our outward differences, we all share the same proud title, citizen.
And more news from the US and other international news in Global Buzz now. US House Republicans won a passage of a measure starting the process of dismantling Obamacare despite concerns about not having a ready replacement and the potential financial cost of repealing President Barack Obama's landmark health insurance law. The House voted 277 to 198 to instruct committees to draft legislation by a target date of 27th of January that would repeal the 2010 Affordable Health Care Act. The Senate had approved the same measure early on Thursday, even though no Democrats supported the initiative. Turkey has arrested 2 Chinese nationals of Uyghur origin in connection with a mass shooting in a nightclub in Istanbul on New Year's Eve, claimed by the Islamic State group. The suspects were arrested on charges of being members of a terrorist organization, purchasing unlicensed firearms and being accomplices to the murder of 39 people. The gunman, however, remains at large despite a massive manhunt still on. Another mastermind of Bangladesh's worst terror attack at a popular cafe in Dhaka last year has been arrested on Saturday, and this arrest comes a week after top Islamist terrorist accused in the deadly siege was killed during a raid by counter-terrorism forces. Jahangir Alam alias Rajib was arrested on Friday, few kilometers north of the capital, by Bangladeshi police's counter-terrorism and transnational crime unit. He is one of the main masterminds of the Gulshan Holy Artisan Bakery attack that killed 23 people, including 17 foreigners. Leaders of Australia and Japan agreed on Saturday to boost cooperation between their militaries as Japan tries to shore up security ties throughout the Asia-Pacific region amid concern over China's growing military might. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his Australian counterpart Malcolm Turnbull signed an upgraded defence agreement after talks in Sydney on trade and regional security issues. The pact allows militaries to provide each other with logistical support during exercises. Both nations are also working towards joint military exercises. In a latest report on Asia-Pacific security cooperation, China has said that since 2015, Sino-Indian strategic and cooperative partnership for peace and prosperity has been further deepened. The report said that the practical cooperation between the two countries has made solid progress in various areas. The two countries have maintained communication and coordination on international affairs and enhanced collaboration in the UN, BRICS, G20, China, India, Russia, and other mechanisms. Such cooperation has also helped safeguard common interests of China, India, and other developing countries. That's all we have for you on the news at 6. Thanks so much for joining us.